In this time of isolation and quarantine, I thought I'd make the pumpkin fruit cake that I've been making for ages now. Everyone seems to like it, so I thought I'll show you how to make it. It's really easy. The main part of the dish is mashed pumpkin. I use Jarrahdale from Woolies. They're the only ones that sell it. Coles might have a version of it. Don't use Kent or butternut, it's too fibrous. This is really smooth and soft and mashes down really, really nice. You got to get it so there's no lumps in it. It's got to be cold too. So generally what I'll do is you got to steam the pumpkin, or don't boil it, steam it. If you boil it, you get all the good stuff out of it. If you put it in while it's hot, it does shitty things to the butter. So cold mashed pumpkin. One of the more important things too is a springform cake tin. These are fantastic because they just make it heaps easier. Get a good one too, because it makes a difference in the long run. This just pops off. I just wipe it with a paper towel after I'm done, and it's clean, like nothing sticks to it. You don't have to scrub it. It's great. The original recipe came from Sally Wise, and I followed it to the T first time I made it, but I've gradually started to change bits in it. Main thing I guess is I use a bit of custard powder instead of some of the plain flour. It's usually a cup of each, but I usually substitute about half the plain flour for custard powder. Makes it really dense and heavy. I tried a quarter cup of standard flour, 3/4 custard. It was really almost like a pudding, so it's probably too much. It says unsalted butter, but I use salted because a little bit of salt never killed anyone. I put my friggin' knife. Alright, should have got my bowl out first. That one's big enough. So get your bowl out. I cut my butter. This is a 500 gram butter, so you need 250 grams. No one's out to get you. Alright, so you got to basically, forgot my sugar. Alright, sugar, white sugar. Use white sugar. Those would fall off. You don't need them. The chocolate buds, they're from a recipe that I made years ago, which was a complete nightmare, making brownies from scratch. Jesus Christ. So I just cut these up into decent chunks. Ooh, Jesus. Coles or Woolies butter, doesn't matter, it's all the same. Whack it in the bowl. Always have some paper towel handy. Chuck this in the microwave. I do it about 10 seconds at a time because you don't want it to melt. You just want it to get nice and soft. Because if it's hard like that, it's ridiculous trying to cream it with the butter. Just get it soft, 10 seconds at a time until you can sort of, I'll show you anyway. Almost there. Alright, that's alright. It's melted a little bit, but it's still pretty right. So now, what you want is a 1 cup plain white sugar and a bit of paper to stick to your finger. That's perfect. Spoon, cup of that straight in. Now, a bit of lemon juice is the other thing when you're creaming. So, whack in about a tablespoon. Give it a good stir. Use a fork. That's easy. Don't ever use a wooden spoon. I believe it's a general rule with cakes when you're stirring the mixture not to use a wooden spoon. Get a good metal spoon. It makes it easier. Okay, so cream it like that until all the sugar's mixed in. Make sure there's none in the bottom. Give it a good hit. Now you want 2 eggs to mix in with that. I've got a fancy forced oven, so it's 150. One time when I made this, I forgot and set it to 160 and ended up with an inedible cake. It was just the fact that 160 compared to 150 over an hour ruins it. Probably, as long as you've got a shelf about halfway, should be fine. Out in the middle. Crack the eggs straight in. You don't need to whisk them before you put them in or anything like that. Right. Again, paper towel, because I reckon. Okay, just give it a quick whiz with your fork until the egg is all mixed in. And don't worry, this will be pretty sloppy for a bit until you start to add your dry ingredients, and then you'll notice it will take shape. So just get that as mixed in as possible. It's pretty good. Now, next, add your pumpkin. One other thing that's really handy with this recipe, or with any recipe really, is your silicone, I don't know what it's called, scraper. It's really good, really handy for getting crap off crap. Straight in. You don't need to add anything to your pumpkin when you're mashing it, just straight pumpkin. Straight in. And again, because it's still sloppy, just use your fork. Now this will turn it an orangey yellow. So just as soon as you can't see any yellow of the butter, just keep kind of mixing it around. You don't have to be gentle with it, you don't have to fold it in. You just got to make sure it's all mixed in together. There's your base there, nice and smooth. Get yourself a sieve, pretty old school. I used to have a rotary sieve thing. Piece of shit, don't bother. Spot on. You can use a bigger bowl, because if your sieve touches the mixture, it's not fantastic, but it's not going to hurt anyone. Okay, now, get yourself raising a cup of this. Perfect. So a cup of that. Now you want half a cup of plain flour. Right, a bit more. Half a cup plain flour. Wouldn't normally bother with the Foster Clarks, whatever it was, but because apparently in a pandemic you need to buy all the Coles custard powder, that's all that was left. You know, I never bother with expensive stuff. You know, it's the same as the bloody Coles stuff that's $1, except the difference is $3.50. So half a cup of unnecessarily expensive custard powder because it's a pandemic. And if you bought all the flour too, I can't wait to see those shit cakes you make, because you're obviously idiots. Half a cup. Now, that doesn't need to be sieved really. Go straight in because it's pretty fluffy. Smells nice too. I like the smell of custard. Reminds me of the war. Right, so pretty good sieve for shit, something I got from Kmart for like $3. Go in there. Okay, so now this can get messy. So just give it a shake until it kind of settles on top of the mixture. I'll use this to start with. Just get it off the sides. Metal spoon. So just be careful, because if you go too hard at it, the flour just goes everywhere. So just start to fold it in. It's not for the mixture necessarily, the folding, it's just because it goes everywhere if you tack it too hard. Oop. There we go, see, I thought about it too much and stuff goes all over the place. First time I made it, obviously, I ended up with everywhere. So it becomes almost like a sticky dough. Give it a good scrape. Make sure there's no flour on the bottom. It gets gross when you're spooning it out into your pan and the bottom's all flour. Oh. Shit, it's too late by then. Right. Now, people will tell you not to eat the mixture. It's got raw eggs in it. Yeah, watch out. It's not going to hurt you. So if you want to lick the spoon, go for it. It tastes really good. It's weird. I never would have thought that you would mix like a vegetable in with sugar in that. But I guess that's the base of pumpkin pies, which I've only ever had once, and they're pretty good. Right, I'll just scrape the sides down. In there, I can go there. Okay, now I use just Woolies mixed fruit. I've made a few of these, and this is something you can experiment with. I've put walnuts in. What was the one I made the other day? Had glacé cherries. So really, The recipe does state 375 grams of mixed fruit, but don't be afraid to use more. Don't put in a kilo because it'll just be a Christmas pudding. Before you start, these are really handy, these little kitchen digital scales. If you know any meth heads, they've probably got one. Little bowl. 7 grams. Okay. So measure out 500. Stuff tends to stick together. That's just a touch over 500 grams. Make sure it's all broken up too. So half a kilo. This gets folded in. So in we go. Get your big spoon. I'm not going to lick that. And you just want to fold it in. You just want to make sure the fruit is sort of evenly distributed. Alright. If you see any sort of big wads of mixture without any fruit in it, just give it a good smush. That's spot on. This is basically your cake. See the handle of the spoon kind of sits in it. It's nice and thick. Now these, you can use butter. Get a bit of baking paper and wipe it in and go around, but I've just found too much effort. So I just give it a quick spray with the old canola. This isn't going to hurt you. Some people reckon that the propellant in this stuff, like fuel in it, they're idiots. These people also think that mobile phones give you cancer and that 5G will be the end of the world. Idiots. Okay, so in you go, just slop it in. Now this is a 23 centimetre cake tin, and I've found that that is perfect for the amount that this recipe makes. Now there's heaps left in there, but that's what your scraper's for. Normally I would be eating this off this spoon, but there's a camera on, but it tastes really nice. Just get it all in there. Doesn't matter if you're scraping it off on the pan. I mean, you can leave whatever you want in there if you're too lazy to scrape it all out, but I just like to make sure my cake's nice and full. This is going to be a good one because that is really, really creamy. This scraper, the top came off it the other day. It did end up in the jam that I was making. It slipped in and it went. This did cook in it for about a minute while it was boiling. Now, regarding the temperature of the oven too, if you have a non-fan forced oven, I don't know what it's supposed to sit at. It might still be 150, it may be 160. 150 is not going to hurt it. The original recipe called, I think it was an hour, so I put it in for about 55 minutes, and that's always been spot on at 150 degrees. So that's ready to go. Middle rack. Oh, I've dropped a chunk. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first time. And now, into the oven for 55 minutes. Get yourself a good timer, they're really handy. And there we go. Alright, so 55 minutes. Spot on. Take it out now. Perfect. That's what it should look like, just a bit of a crust on the top. You don't want it dark anywhere. I call this a 3-day cake. So on day 1, you make it. Let it cool. If you've got a cooling rack, perfect. Not absolutely necessary, can just stay in the tin. So chuck them on the cooling rack. I'll take it out of the tin in about probably half an hour. Chuck a plate on the top, flip it over, take the bottom off the tin, and then flip it back over. But what you want to do when it's fully cooled down is actually wrap it in Glad wrap. Because of the fruit, if you wrap it in Glad wrap, all the moisture from the fruit will go into the rest of the cake, and it just makes it heaps better. Don't hook straight into it. Always let it cool, because if you try and cut it now, it'll just disintegrate. So give it a go.